Hold it down. 100 racks. Yeah. 100 racks. Hold it down. 100 clips. 100 clips. Hold it down. 100 racks. 100 racks. Hold it down. 100 clips. 100 clips. Hold it down. Finding myself, gaining my wealth, aiming in stealth, raising up hell. Our mothers is crying, our brothers is dying. Are we even trying to?
Sea moss, like other marine algae, can absorb contaminants from its environment. Potential contaminants include heavy metals, organic pollutants, and microorganisms. The oceans are becoming more and more polluted due to things like relaxed corporate dumping requirements, plastic use, and microorganism proliferation. These all spell a more toxic ecology in the Earth's oceans and call for exporters of oceanic product to engage in more tenuous and complex filtering processes.
For a limited time, get a 15-day supply of infinite thick capsules risk-free. You only cover the shipping cost. You can try this effective formula for yourself at no risk and gain the benefits of the powerful effect of our #1 seller. Simply go to sciencestemple.com and hit the trial link for your free 15-day supply today.
Notable contaminants include heavy metals such as lead, mercury, cadmium and arsenic. Organic pollutants such as polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs. One rarely spoken on subject is the exponentially increasing amount of these pollutants absorbed by aquatic plants and algae. While the sea moss trend is growing, little discussion on the potential for toxicity is occurring concurrently. That being the case, there are plenty of studies supporting the need for more awareness and informing of these toxic issues, such as multiple studies by organizations like the Journal of Applied Psychology, which analyzed heavy metal concentrations in various seaweeds and algae, including Chondrus crispus or Irish moss. Oceanic pollution occurs in many different forms. Lead pollution occurs via runoff from industrial sites, for example, battery manufacturing waste, construction sites, or even residential pipe wastewater. Mercury pollution occurs by atmospheric deposition, for example, coal power plant emissions. The main source of mercury in the environment is from human activity through coal combustion, electrical power generation and industrial waste disposal. Cadmium pollution also occurs by mining discharge, for example, runoff from zinc mining. Arsenic pollution occurs from agricultural runoff, for example, pesticide use. Arsenic is also used industrially as an alloying agent, as well as in the processing of glass, pigments, textiles, paper, metal adhesives, wood preservatives, and ammunition. Polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, pollute the waters by improper disposal of electrical equipment. Examples include leaking capacitors and old electrical wiring. Pathogenic bacteria pollute the waters from sewage discharge and untreated wastewater release. The medicated waste products of nearly 1 billion humans finds its way to the ocean despite wastewater processing sites. This poses new unknown threats to marine life and subsequently all living beings deriving any portion of sustenance from the ocean waters. Professor Philip Landrigan, MD, the director of the Observatory and of Boston College's Global Public Health and the Common Good Program, stated, "Simply put, ocean pollution is a major global problem, it is growing, and it directly affects human health. People have heard about plastic pollution in the oceans, but that is only part of it. Research shows the oceans are being fouled by a complex stew of toxins including mercury, pesticides, industrial chemicals, petroleum wastes, agricultural runoff, and manufactured chemicals embedded in plastic. These toxic materials in the ocean get into people, mainly by eating contaminated seafood. The emphasis is on the problem growing and getting worse, so people need to know what measures are being taken to filter out harmful toxins in their seafoods, which would include sea moss and seaweed. Every area of the ocean is polluted, and according to a study made by the Ocean Cleanup Foundation, even though there is also glass and wood in the sea, 99.9% of the debris pollution is plastic. Around 10 million tons of plastic and other kind of waste entered the ocean only in 2010. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons or PAHs from historical oil spills like the Exxon Valdez spill and the Deepwater Horizon spill, which jointly spilled 182 million gallons of crude oil in the oceans, continue to pose risks to ocean life and can have cascading effects through the food chain, ultimately affecting human health. PAHs are a class of organic compounds produced by incomplete combustion or high-pressure processes. They can be absorbed into the bloodstream where the body tries to metabolize them, and this causes a destructive metabolite that alters cell replication through DNA damage. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Department of Commerce governmental organization states on its own site that our work will also continue past 2031 as we lead the implementation of numerous large restoration projects. Meaning, there are still damages occurring as a result of the oil spills, damage requiring repair past the year 2031 with regard to trying to repair the environmental damage done by the Deepwater Horizon and Exxon Valdez spill. Research on sea moss contaminants. There has been research conducted on the contamination of sea moss and other marine algae. Some key studies and findings are: 1. Heavy metal contamination. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology analyzed heavy metal concentrations in various seaweeds, including Chondrus crispus. The researchers found varying levels of heavy metals, depending on the collection site and environmental conditions. A review article in the Journal of Applied Psychology discussed the microbial contamination of seaweeds, including the presence of harmful bacteria and viruses, and suggested best practices for safe consumption. To minimize the risk of consuming contaminated sea moss. Source from reputable suppliers. Purchase sea moss from suppliers who test their products for contaminants. Check certifications. Look for certifications or third-party testing that verify the purity and safety of the product. Environmental considerations. Sea moss harvested from cleaner, less industrialized waters is less likely to be contaminated. So the bottom line is, if you haven't heard of these potential dangers, then you're allowing the surface promotions to guide your consumption habits, and we recommend you look further into the importance of your food choices as well as your health.